Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of GFN on the mic. So today we got Dr. John Thomas. So Doctor, could you please give us a little brief introduction about yourself, what you're currently doing, what you were doing, and
My name is John, and right now what I'm doing is I met Jesus at one point of my life, and I started reading the Bible. And before that, my parents wanted me to do something in life, for me to do what my dad thought was best in life. And he wanted me to become a doctor, a medical doctor. That's what.
it's classic Asian.
Yeah, everybody thinks that my children should do the best. So according to my dad's understanding, making his son a doctor is the best thing for him that he can do for me. And then there is me. I also had a plan about my own life, what I wanted to be. So there was a conflict between what I wanted to do in life and what my dad wanted to do. And I was born in a Catholic family. I did not have any close relationship with God, or I never read the Bible in my life at that time. And so these two things were there. My dad wanted me to do something in life, so he thought being a doctor, that would be the best for me. And then I was good at art. So in my school, I used to come first in my art competitions and all that. I became first in my district, so I was very proud when I was in school itself of my ability to do that. And if you're good at art, then, I thought I should be doing architecture. Architecture is connected to my talent. And so it would be easy for me to, do that. And medicine means doing a lot of studies, a lot more studies. So I thought I will if I do architecture, it'll be more easy. I can just finish it off and I can finish my studies. But medicine is a lot of studies. But then my dad wanted me to pursue medicine, and he wanted me to do that.
So you chose what your dad.
So yeah, I had to say yes to his decision. So that's how I went to the medical school. And then because of this, I had a lot of questions in my heart. When I joined the medical school, I was there, I was studying, but still I had a lot of questions about life. What is ultimately what life is all about? Does everybody? Is this what life is all about? Do you do something because you have to do it, or even though you don't want to do it, you have to do it? That's what it's happened to me. So I was I was struggling with a lot of questions. And then I did not know God at that time also. I was studying with all these questions in my heart. And it was in my final year, I had an encounter with Jesus.
Do you want to elaborate more on how that encounter was? Or?
Yeah, basically I went through medical school, I was studying, but I was not very happy because I felt this is not what I should be doing. And at the same time, I didn't want to just finish it off and go without completing it. I felt I should complete it because otherwise my dad will not be happy, So I was studying as if it was for his sake I'm studying. And I thought I'm really talented, so I can just finish this. And then I can go and do what I want to do in life, what I really want to do in life. That was I was studying medicine with that kind of a mindset.
Yeah.
So in my final year, with all these frustrations and questions without answers, I was studying just to finish off my studies. And that time I reached a point of my life where I was really frustrated in my final year. And then when you're really frustrated, you need help, right?
Yeah.
And that time it came to my heart at this point, usually we all have two people who would help us. I had my parents who would help me, and then I had a lot of friends. I was good in making friends. I used to have a lot of friends. But at that time, I had this thought inside me, this reality, that at this point of my life, my parents cannot help me.
Yeah.
My friends cannot help me. So I knew that this is from inside. I knew that my parents cannot help me in this situation. My friends cannot help me. So who else is left? When I was a Catholic in my very young age, we all know that there is a God somewhere. but that God is somewhere far away, So that's what I thought. But then with all these struggles and frustrations and all that, one Sunday morning I just thought I should go to church on Sunday morning. I never had the habit of going to church. Even to Catholic church I would never go. But that Sunday morning I took my bike and I just found a church which we used to meet in a classroom. And why I went to that particular church is because there was one person in that church who was a good example in many ways. So I thought maybe I should go to that church where this person is going. I did not know any other church, other than the Catholic church. So I thought I would go to this church where this person is going, because his life was different from other people's lives. So I just went to that place and I was sitting there, and through the speaker, the pastor who was speaking, he was speaking, and it was exactly what was happening in my heart. And I had never told anybody what's happening inside my heart. It was all inside me.
Yeah.
And with all the frustrations and all those things that was happening inside me. And I even had some kind of a suicidal thoughts,
Yeah.
I would never be a person who will go and commit suicide, but I still had some thoughts, With all that thoughts, I was sitting there, and this pastor who was speaking, he spoke about what's happening inside my heart, which I never told anybody.
I think it's at times when you're going through a situation like that, God can speak through like other people, and then it just sort of becomes more direct.
Yeah. So when he said that, I was thinking how he knows what I'm thinking. I never told anybody. This is just between me and me. That's nobody else knows that. And immediately it came inside me. It is not him who is speaking. It is God, whom I thought he is somewhere far away. But I knew that he is not far away. He even knows what I'm thinking. And that time it came inside my heart that this God whom I thought he is somewhere far away. He's not far away. He even knows what I'm thinking, what's happening inside my heart. And that one thought that came to me was, he cares for me. That's why he came in search of me when I was really in need, when there was nobody else to, help.
And before, previously you mentioned when studying medicine, you did have those questions of why, like certain questions like the purpose of life, or like why God did this. And I think this may be the same with other people who may be studying a similar field like that. Of course, it is a very intensive field, and you might see loss, so there might be a lot of sadness that comes in this field. So just a question about how do people, anyone who's struggling through those questions, like that fight between science or medicine and God and the reality, like especially if you're in a department that you may see a lot of loss, you may see a lot of challenges and struggles. So I think as a person who constantly might be witnessing this, they might have that challenge of why God will be doing this. So what's your thoughts on
medical science? If you study the origin of medical science, this is from the Greek world. Okay?
Yeah.
And if you know the Bible, it says, there is a verse which says, Greeks look for wisdom, and the Jews look for science, Greeks look for wisdom. And the Greeks, that wisdom that they are talking about is man's wisdom. And the origin at the time of origin of medical science, they would not acknowledge that man had a spirit. They only knew that man had a body and a mind. They did not even know there is a spirit. If you say spirit, they will say that's foolishness, But of course, now today we have a lot of Christian people who study medicine. We know that there is a spirit, but you cannot see a spirit, Medical science or science can only understand or study things which they can see or prove.
Yeah.
But you cannot see spirit. So, but we know that man has a spirit. Like when I say that this is my body, I say this is my body. And I say my mind says this. So who is this I? You understand what I'm saying? It says like, and I am saying, this is my body. And my mind says this. So who is this person who is talking from inside? Yeah. That is the real man. That man is saying, this is my body. So this, like people have this statement, I'm sure many of you know this, man is a spirit, he lives in a body and he has a mind. But the real person is the spirit that is inside us.
So you had that conflict in your own life about whether it was going through your plan, going through your parents' plan or your dad's plan, and then now it's bringing to what's God's plan for you.
Yeah.
And so how did you know that God's plan for you was through ministry, and did you just immediately quit what you're doing and go, or was it like a process you had to go through? Or
So I had all these questions in my heart, asking questions like, is this the only way to live?
is this the only route to go down?
Yeah. So what if somebody does not want to do medicine?
I think it's
Is-
that
yeah.
of that stereotype of Asian parents, or
Yeah.
most parents, they just want that the child to have a secure life, to be having
Yeah.
that money, finance, whether it be through
Yeah.
mostly through medicine, or I think there's other fields now like
Yeah.
engineering and lawyer and stuff like that. But of course, in India, medicine seems like the only hope
Yeah.
for that.
Because this in India, of course, there's a lot of population. People are so many people. So, if you want to live decently, you need to have a job.
A secure job.
And
yeah.
so, if you're a doctor, you'll have a job always. So that's why parents, they think it's the best. That's the best thing to do. But the thing, I was also having other things, questions in my heart, and I kept asking all these questions, and I did not have answers. I had questions, so I was thinking, what if is there another option? What if somebody does not want to do medicine, or somebody is not able to study medicine? Is there no way that he can live in this world? So with all these questions, without answers, I was studying. But when I found Jesus, after that experience, I started reading the Bible, and I understood the moment you receive Jesus, you become a child of God. That's what the Bible says. So, I told you I was an artist. I used to be good at art, and I was very proud of my ability to do that. And, the first book I read from the Bible is the book of Job.
Yeah.
Job, I was asking a lot of questions like me. If you read, the whole book of Job, 38 chapters, he was asking questions, and there was no other conversation happening there, just Job and his questions, But after 38 chapters of Job's questions, God stops him and asks him, replies to him with a question. He was asking something like, Job, where were you when I was creating the heavens? Correct?
Yeah.
So I understood what this question meant. So I was also very similar to that, I was thinking I'm talented, asking a lot of questions. And but then God at that time opened my heart, opened my eyes to see. I started looking at everything around me. And God was showing me, look at this, what I have made, and what you have some talent, but look at, there's no comparison between these two, And I started understanding how great God's creation is, and of course I had some talent, but there is nothing compared to what He has created and who He is, And then I started understanding how great He is, He opened my eyes basically. And then imagine such a big God who created all things. And now He says, you are my child. Child means He is my father.
Yeah.
And now He will take care of me. Right? So this is the answer for everybody,
Yeah.
But the thing is, on top of that, I was in a room, just my medical final year book and myself, and I had a Bible with me. And I had separated myself from all my friends that time because I just wanted to finish my studies that time. I was alone in a room with my medical books and my Bible, and I changed from my music. I shifted to Christian music. But that 3 months, 4 months, I was just in that one room. I felt that was the best time of my life. I was filled with joy. I was not doing anything, no friends, nothing else I was doing.
More like a transformation?
I was filled with joy, And I'm just thinking, I know where this joy is coming from, you know.
Yeah.
And I felt everybody should know this, because I felt all my friends are looking for fun, to have some enjoyment in life. They're doing a lot of things. I was also part of it. But I felt, here I am. I found experience. I had this experience. And I found joy, which everybody needs. And I started telling everybody about what I found.
Yeah.
So that is how I started doing what I'm doing now full time. Yeah.
So, what was criticism or overall reaction faced by others, especially like your family,
Yeah.
when you had to tell them that you were going into this field?
Yeah. Of course, my dad, he could not understand what I'm doing. I had my eyes open, but they are still in that situation. So they look at life in the natural way, and they could not understand what I'm doing. So they thought, how will you live in this world? You need to have a job, you need to have a good salary. So my dad could never come to terms with that. I mean, he was always angry. He was trying his best to drive me away from this and get back to normal life. Yeah, but I was like, at first I was working in the hospital. Then I used to talk about Jesus to others.
Yeah.
I felt this is more important than that. And then after some time, I even left my hospital job, and then I started doing this full time. And you asked the question, like, did you immediately transition from, I did not immediately do that. Because, when I went to medical school, I felt that I made a big,
Regret.
decision which was not right, because of a pressure from my parents. But then when I finished it, and then now I found God, an option, which I never knew there was such an option. And I knew this is the answer for everybody. And I knew this is true, all that. But then I did not want to make another decision immediately so fast and make another wrong decision. So I just now I am free to make my own decisions. Nobody was controlling me to make any decision. So I took my own time to going through everything. Initially, because I was good at art, I thought I will do surgery. I used to like doing surgery because my hands were good. I used to like doing things with my hands, and I was good at it also. So I thought I will do surgery. But the thing is, I went through surgical departments. I was there. I was enjoying it also as well. I was in our mission hospitals. We could do surgeries, like we would do cesarean sections. We would do. I was good in that. I was doing good also, and I was enjoying it. But the thing is, this is about me. Being an artist, I was also an artist.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking, is this what I want to do all my life? Because after some time, there is nothing like higher. It's going to be one same thing all your life.
Yeah.
And even when I was doing my art in school, I knew that I reached one level, and after that there is nothing higher. It's just I reached one level, and that's it. You can't, there's a limit what man can do. And I was looking at surgery, I was doing it, but the thing is, I was saying that, okay, I'm doing it now, and I'm going to be doing this all my life. This will be. And the thing is, and I was preparing for this also, I was just thinking the topic that I'm talking is about purpose. And purpose involves a price you pay, right?
Yeah.
Like, for example, you want to do something with your life. And I was just trying to assess if I'm going to... Medical studies is not easy, being medical world, it's not easy. Because you have to be updated with a lot of things every day, what's happening. Every day changes are happening. So if you're not really keeping up to date, you're out of the medical field. So I'm just analyzing. If I'm putting so much effort into this, is it really worth it?
Yeah.
So that was I was trying to wait, if I put so much effort, is it really that much worth it?
Yeah.
I felt it was not so much worth it. Because ultimately it all boils down to making a living. You understand what I'm making a living? Understand what I'm saying? Earning a living. Okay. So I thought, but I knew that when I found God, He would take care of me. I knew that He's my Father. That's a revelation that needs to come. But I knew that, He's going to take care of me. And I felt, this is, suppose I found something, and if I keep it to myself, it's not a good thing, correct?
Yeah.
And I felt that, I should be telling I know Jesus now. I have eternal life, I have this joy. And I can just sit back and say, okay, I have this, I found this. And I can just go back and live my own life without telling this to anybody. That would be like very selfish of me. But I felt, I should tell this to everybody,
Sure.
And I had examples in front of me. I also had this question. This was my question. I had this question, I was kind of very angry at that time. I used to ask, is there anything greater than being a doctor in life? Everybody has this thing that I want to be a doctor. Even if you look at parents now, sometimes if a girl or a boy is very smart, and very talented or very good in studies, what is the parents will be saying? Okay, I'll make her a doctor. I will make her a doctor,
Yeah.
A boy is good in studies, they'll say, oh, this guy is good in studies, he's really good. Let's make him a doctor. Because doctor is being seen as the ultimate thing a man can become,
Yeah.
But I had this question, is there anything greater than being a doctor in life? Because that's what my question was. And I did not have the answer. But then when I found Jesus and the purpose of life and eternity, all that, I knew this is higher than that, And interestingly, I'm from Kerala, so back in Kerala, I came back to Trivandrum, in the capital of Kerala. I came back and I was doing my internship there.
Yeah.
And then God put before me one person. He was a teacher, elder in our church. He was a person, he finished his medical studies and immediately he moved into ministry, teaching the Bible full time. Okay? That was one person. And there was also another person in front of me whose name was also John. He was also Dr. John. And he also finished his medical studies. Immediately he was in the full time serving Jesus without practicing. So God showed me two examples in front of me. These are two people who finished medical studies and immediately moved into ministry. But for me, I did not immediately move into ministry. I took my own time and I just slowly, I went through surgical departments. I was seeing all the surgery, what they are doing. And then I don't want to go explaining all those things, but I felt, this even may not be the ultimate thing that I would be enjoying doing in my life, And I talked about price. If you want to take this medical field, you're going to pay a big price. A lot of time, a lot of effort. And I was weighing and I was just thinking, is it really worth all the effort and the price that you pay to do this? I felt no. So I immediately, I just slowly drifted myself and slowly waned off the medical thing and I moved fully into what I'm doing now.
Yeah, I think it's also that, every person has their own journey of how they get into the ministry and the missionary field as well.
Yeah.
And so how does one know what God's purpose is for their lives and why is it important to fulfill God's purpose?
See, as I said, there are three things. One is our parents have a purpose in our lives, right? Yeah. I say when a child is born, the parents will take the child in your hand and then the father or the mother will just look at the child and say, I will make him a doctor or I'll make her a doctor, This child is just born, Am I right? Parents will just dream that I will make him a doctor or something, That is the parent's dream. Now I was growing up to be an artist and all that. And I had my own plans, about my life, what I should be doing in life. I did not know there was another option that, God had a purpose. I did not know till I knew God. And now Bible says, even before you were formed in your mother's womb, He knew me. And He created me with a purpose. And now, I told you about price, paying a price, and also there's the same word that is used, like, when you give something, you get a prize, right?
Yeah.
A trophy is also called as a prize, right?
Yeah.
Like you pay a price, that is what you pay to get something, and then you receive a price, right? Amen?
Yeah.
So, I felt like, this, now if you pay a price, and then I fulfill my dad's purpose, and then or my purpose, you will get some price. Maybe a good salary or something, a good life in this world. But that is limited to this life, But when you fulfill God's purpose, you have a prize that is eternal. I teach people about the reward. The Bible talks about reward. I'm just using the word prize here. But the thing is, if you know gold, gold,
Yeah.
if you go to a gold shop and you look at gold, when it gets old, it doesn't look so nice. It's old, Now, whatever you receive in this world as a gift, it will fade away after some time, correct? But what you're going to receive from Jesus is eternal. Bible talks about rewards and crowns. These are not temporary. After some time, suppose on your birthday you get a gift. Next birthday, it's old. Or you buy a new phone. After 2 years, it's old. You want the new phone now. The thing is, but what you receive from Jesus, it is going to be eternal. It is not going to fade away. It is going to be forever. Eternal crowns on your head and eternal rewards. We cannot even imagine those gifts and rewards we receive from Jesus. So there is eternal rewards for what you do when you fulfill God's purpose.
So to conclude, one last question is, what advice would you give for the younger generation or younger people, including myself, about what finding God's purpose is? And it's quite ironic that you were talking about medicine as well.
Yeah. So the thing is, we all should know that everyone has got a purpose. God has a purpose for each person. It's not that only few people God has a purpose. Bible says very clearly, I'm sure most of us know this verse in Jeremiah 29:11. It says, I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you, plans to bless you, not to harm you, but I want to give you a future and a hope. Another translation says, give you an expected end. That means God has a purpose in mind. But the thing is, God's purposes will not happen automatically in our lives. We need to seek it. And we will not seek it unless we know it's really important, And why it is so important is because whatever else you do in this world with your life, it is only for this life, Bible says, a person, he can gain the whole world, but yet lose its soul. It's his own soul. It's of no use. That is talking about people who do not even know Jesus, But even after knowing Jesus, if you live only for yourself, fulfilling your desires, your plans, all those things which you achieve in this world, fulfilling your own, that will be ultimately, you cannot take it anywhere. This will end with this life. But the thing is, what you do for God, God's purpose, that will be with you as rewards and crowns in heaven. That is eternal. So, and now the question comes, people will have, young people, it's not that we are going to heaven tomorrow. We are still in this world. Now people have this question, what about my life on this earth? Correct? Now the thing is, that's why, this Jeremiah 29:11 is very important. God says, many times people have a, fear. If you set out to do God's will, you will be in trouble. Many times people have this fear. But God says very clearly that I have a purpose for you, not to harm you, but I want to give you a future and a hope. And from my life experience, I can tell you that God will never push you like it's raining outside. No, your parents will not push you to the rain, right? They know it's raining outside, you need to have an umbrella.
Yeah.
They'll know how to, how you should be taken care of. Like that, when you choose to follow God's purposes, He will take you step by step according to your faith. He will not push you out and throw you in the rain, put you down. No, He will not. He will take care of you every step according to our faith. So take your steps slowly, because He is your Father. God is our Father, and He knows how to take care of you in this world and in eternally. I have a website. It's called, I don't know whether it's for everybody, but it's secondadams.com. Okay. And in that website, I have mentioned, it says, my website says like this: all about life.
Yeah.
All about life. Now, what is life? Life is on this earth, and life is also eternal. Correct? God has promised to take care of you in this world and eternally.
Yeah.
Right? So that is why you can be confident of giving your lives into God's hands, and you can be confident that God will take care of me. And God's plans is much better than our plans for our lives. You can see so many talented people in this world, people, I don't want to take anybody's names, but there are so many talented people, highly successful entrepreneurs, businessmen, but at some point something happens to them and they're gone.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is, anything that we achieve in this world without God, ultimately, if you don't know God, ultimately that's destruction. But even after knowing God, if you don't follow God's purpose, we are missing something big. Yeah.
So thank you for telling us about what God's plan is for our lives, and I'm sure that this message has been quite helpful for a lot of the audience here. It's also important to know that it's not what our plans are, it's not what our parents' plans are, but it's important to know that it's God's plan, and to be able to fulfill God's plan to get that eternal blessing that we need. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.